Women want to do what?
Women wanted to work. Women didn't want to have
kids.
Want
to work. Definitely not. And they definitely, it seems like when I look at the regrets that I hear from women, more than anything by the time they hit their 40s, was that they did that and that they feel like they were completely lied to about it.
Yeah, that's what they say. But that's kind of like a fat person, like saying they want to lose weight, but they don't take any steps to like make it happen. They don't really want to lose weight.
I mean, that's common.
Like if women, if women have, like we get thousands of options on a dating app, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you wanted to, you would, but we don't. So what does that tell you? It's not what we want to do.
Well,
I bring absolutely nothing to a man's life. I bring nothing to the table. I was married for 22 years. I left it all there. I will not cook for you any night of your life. You have kids? Great. Can we pretend like it's flowers in the attic? I don't want to see them or hear them. Got a mom? I don't want to meet her. I'm not doing your laundry. I'm not cleaning up. I'm definitely not digging you out of debt. I'm not cheering you on in life. You're an adult. Cheer for yourself. I did all that and more for decades. I have nothing left to give. Quite honestly, I probably shouldn't have given it at all to begin with, because look where it got me. Divorced. At this stage in the game, post-divorce, adult children, no man wants me. I'm nothing more than just a warm body. That's it. Just over there in the corner, a warm body. I don't ask for anything, and I give even less than I ask for. So really, what's the point? We can just look at each other, take up space in the same house. The only real benefit I see is sort of like a in-person life alert. If I see you go down, I'll call 911.
What really hurts isn't rejection. It's effortless rejection. Men aren't arguing, negotiating, or explaining anymore. No long debates. No, let me think about it. Just disinterest and distance. Nothing bruises ego like not being considered at all.
There are not a lot of men in this generation that serve women. And I emphasize on the serve, because I've dated so many men and also have spoke to a lot of men that are very much not into serving women. It's always, well, what do you bring to the table? Well, what do you have for me? Well, I got you this the other day, now you owe me. It's always that. And it's very sad, because only a small percentage of men were raised properly, where a woman does what she does, a man does what he does, and y'all come together as a team.
Do you know what I think the problem with that is? Nowadays, when we talk about leading, when we talk about a man being masculine, it's deemed toxic. So people don't know how to differentiate, like, what a man's doing that is actually leading and what I'm doing that is actually toxicity, and be able to control and whatever, manipulative, whatever it is, and be able to separate the both.
The first thing you have to do is just not give a fuck what other people think.
Yeah.
Because the people using those words like controlling, toxic, manipulative, they don't have your best interests at heart.
Mm-hmm.
They're not trying to. Anyone who says that to you is not trying to give you a happy, healthy relationship.
Yeah.
For decades, men were told attraction was something they could be trained into. Buy flowers, listen harder, tolerate more, apologize endlessly. Now men understand attraction is instinctive, not earned through suffering. Romance isn't community service.
Men are giving up on dating and relationships. Every year, more and more men are refusing to approach and court women, and the marriage rate keeps dropping. It turns out that the liberals and the mainstream media are finally taking notice. Let's take a look at the panel of liberals finally realizing how bad men have it in the dating market.
Pointing to Anna, pointing this out to me, that there is strong emergence.
Isn't she a lesbian? She should know. This woman should know how bad men have it, okay?
Evidence Gen Z is indeed less sexually active, dating less compared to previous generations.
Yeah, so when they say Gen Z is less sexually active, the men are less sexually active. I know the data will tell you one thing, right? There'll be these studies that say, oh no, like the men, it's the men and the women. Yeah, what incentive do these studies have to be honest about the women throwing it back? The women, now they have phones and stuff. They just want to get with the most clouded guy, and a lot of guys are getting iced out, sadly.
The meltdown intensifies when men don't even try to win her over. No pedestal, no flattery, no fear of losing her. Just calm detachment. Confidence collapses fast when it isn't being mirrored back.
What's going on with women these days? We used to be a lot happier than men, and now we're not. What happened?
What you've found is that over the past 20 years or so, women have converged downward to the unhappiness levels of men. And at first I thought, great, men are getting happier. Women are getting unhappier, is what we find. And they're getting unhappier very quickly. And so there's a lot of different theories of it. You find that there's a lot less family formation going on. There's a lot less marriage. You find that men and women are diverging politically really, really quickly. You find that women are getting much more politically progressive and men are getting more conservative. And so the result of it is that, especially in a culture where people think that the most important thing for making a romantic match is voting for the same party idiotically. Social media is especially targeted at young women. It's creating a whole lot of misery with social comparison, with political hatred, with the sense of loneliness that's crawling out of people's smartphones. And all these things together are creating an epidemic of unhappiness among women, especially young women in our society today.
Modern dating taught women that men would always adapt, always chase, always compromise. That safety net is gone. Men learn the most powerful move isn't dominance, it's absence. You can't manipulate someone who already left the room.
Hi guys. Our society is lying to both men and women. It tells young boys that there's something wrong with their inherent masculinity, and it sells young girls some fantasized notion of a career as being the greatest source of their fulfillment and happiness. The result is a confused generation trying to frantically claw at some sense of meaning and purpose. But I think no lie is as destructive and antithetical to human nature as the idea that a woman's true happiness primarily comes from working a job. And I'll tell you why. Your job is not your life's purpose. It is, at best, a means of sustenance. Too often, the word career is thrown around by people when they want to glorify and fantasize what's really just having a job. Having a career that actually gives you enough meaning and purpose and excitement in life is a luxury only a few people have. The vast majority of people have jobs they hate, and they only do that job they hate because they have bills to pay. I'm not sure why anyone would think that's more fulfilling than family, children, and marriage. Women bear the greatest brunt of this lie. Their most vital and fertile years are spent slaving away at these jobs until they realize that they're stuck in a life they don't want to live. This is reflected in the phenomenon of female lawyers disproportionately dropping out of law firms after the age of 30. This is when they find out that their life is being eaten up by a workplace that ultimately doesn't give a damn about them. And when surveyed, over 48% of women have stated that work-life balance is the biggest reason they want to quit. Working a job isn't exactly the female empowerment that feminists told us it was going to be. Women went out of their way to escape the patriarchal oppression of their husbands, but usually just found themselves working for a male boss somewhere on the corporate ladder. Except that male boss didn't give a damn about them and could easily replace them at the drop of a hat. The same women that cringed at the thought of making their husbands a coffee or a sandwich now finds herself running errands around the workplace trying to make sure that the male boss is happy and types up a good report. To me, this seems like human relationships are becoming less meaningful and more focused on money and feminist ideas, where women think they're gaining freedom, but they're actually facing a worse kind of oppression because it's done covertly. And the most tragic part is the women that are most likely to fall for this lie are the women in their 20s and 30s. It's just a harsh biological fact that those are also the most fertile years of a woman's life. Many women find themselves at the end of their career road, having missed the intersection where they actually needed to make important decisions about marriage and children and family. And usually there's no going back. There's a great book everyone should read called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. I think that's enough to change anyone's perspective on this. Ronnie was a nurse caring for terminally ill patients and recording their life's regrets before they died. She writes that one of their greatest regrets on the deathbed that they were on was that they wished they hadn't worked so hard and actually spent more time with family. I think there's a lesson in that we could all learn before we get to that stage ourselves. So with that being said, until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Now suddenly men having standards is called misogyny. Men walking away is called emotional immaturity. Men prioritizing peace is called avoidant. Funny how every male boundary magically becomes a flaw.
You know, I came across this video of this man, and he was giving all of the reasons that some men have left their partners. I guess they had wrote in, and one man said that he left his woman because her eyes didn't dilate when she saw him. Another one said that his wife had cancer at the time, and she had lost all her hair due to chemo, and that he likes women with long hair. One said that he likes women. He didn't tell the girl, he told her mother. The reason why he left his wife was because he likes women who have a father figure in their lives. Now, her father left when she was 4 years old. Some of these men want to be able to step out, want to be able to leave you for the absolute dumbest of reasons. the most shallow, the most insignificant, the most absurd reasons possible. Now, I'm not sure how well you follow politics, but like in a state like Texas, they're trying to get rid of something called no-fault divorce, which is basically they don't want women to be able to leave them. Now, they want to leave you for dumb reasons or step out on you for dumb reasons, but they don't want women to have the ability to be able to leave them. I don't know if you guys are noticing, but they want to return the United States to the 50s. They want to return the United States to a time where women had no rights, where women had no ability to be able to leave. The more the men are not being married and not having kids, and the more the women are saying, I'd rather stay single than be with somebody like you, the more they are trying to make you feel like you're stuck with them. They're trying to change the laws. They're trying to change the rules. They want you to be stuck with them. Ladies, don't let anybody make you feel any kind of way for not being in a relationship or for not being married. You want to make sure if you take a step like that, it's with somebody who's worth it. Because in some of these cases, they want you to be stuck with them forever, no matter what they do to you. So you may notice there are so many men, so many politicians saying we want to go back to the good old days. They really mean they want to go back to the days when women had no rights. Because women had no rights, they could have a whole other family across town and she couldn't leave. She had no bank account. She couldn't buy a house on her own. She had no job. She didn't make the same amount of money. Like, she couldn't get an education. Like, they want you to go back to the time where you needed men, not wanted them, needed men in order to survive. And the reason why they're throwing up, crying, sliding down the wall, trying to change and fix everything in their favor is because they're realizing slowly but surely the only way you'll be able to keep a modern day woman is if you're actually good to her.
What's really being mourned isn't love, it's leverage. The attention, the orbiters, the emotional safety blankets. When men stop providing those for free, reality gets loud. Silence is brutal when you're used to noise.
I'm so fucking tired of being disappointed by men. I'm so fucking tired of getting hurt. I'm so fucking tired of men lying and then calling it honesty. I'm so tired of men pretending like they want to be in a relationship with you and literally pretend and act like they are in a relationship with you just for them to turn around weeks later and say they don't want a relationship with you. So what the fuck were you doing the entire time? Were we playing pretend? How old are we? I thought we stopped playing pretend when we turned like 9. Why are we still doing it? Why are you a little boy in a man's body? Why have you not matured yet? Why do I have to be disappointed and feel like a fool every fucking time? I'm so tired. Because from what I've also learned about guys is that they know right away. They know pretty early on if they see it with you or they don't, and they're not going to waste their fucking time if they don't see it, right? And I'm not talking about like just keeping you around, kind of breadcrumbing you just to like be able to get into your pants so that, you know, you go out on a night out so that they can text you at 2 a.m. and you come over. I'm just saying, like, I've gone through enough, I've been through enough that like I know the difference. I can usually spot the difference. I'm talking about guys that are coming over, cooking me dinner, hanging out multiple times a week, going on dates, paying for things. I'm meeting their friends, they're meeting my friends. Like, very much dating, right? So you can do all of the long-term relationship-y things with me, but then turn around and say you don't see the long-term relationship with me. Everyone's like, oh my god, Lindsay, how do you deal with heartache? How do you deal with like getting rejected and getting your feelings hurt? I like don't handle it well, but the more it happens, the better I become at just like fucking letting it go. I used to always turn it around and be like, okay, well, what happened and why me and what did I do wrong and why didn't he like me? Now, there's no rhyme or reason. I've literally learned that it is nothing to do with me. And that's not to say I'm perfect. That's not to say that, like, you know, everyone has to like me. But it doesn't matter, honestly, what they tell me. It doesn't make it any better. So asking them, like, what went wrong, save yourself the fucking time. Save yourself the text message. Save yourself. They're gonna lie. You're never gonna get the real truth. Sucks to get excited about someone and to really put your time and energy and for it to be reciprocated and for it to be going well and then for it to be taken away from you without you understanding and without getting any type of like good reason. Because most likely it has nothing to do with you. Because honestly, I think he could see a long-term relationship with me because he wouldn't have done all that shit if he couldn't have. And it's something that he needs to deal with within himself. Either one, he's not ready for a long-term relationship, period. Not because it's with you, with anyone. And maybe you're the first girl that he actually started to see and feel a long-term relationship with, and he panicked. He freaked out. He had put his foot in the water, and he panicked and got cold feet and basically blamed it on you. When in reality, he might have some unhealed trauma, isn't over his ex-girlfriend, is stressed out. Like, you never fucking know, but most of the time, the guy is not going to take the responsibility or take the time to probably self-reflect and deep dive into why he can't see a relationship with you when you guys get along like a house on fire, and he probably won't find someone that he gets along better with in a while. And maybe he'll figure it out later and, you know, and be like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't have done that. But by that point, it's going to be too fucking late. So I can sit here and boo-hoo and be upset and, you know, and try to hope that he figures out what he lost, or just understand that the person that you're meant to be with won't fucking, like, let you go and will realize how special the person in front of them is and won't do shit like this.
And the hardest pill? Men are happier. Less stress, less drama, more clarity. They're not bitter, they're relieved. Nothing scares entitlement more than someone thriving without it.
None of us in here can be considered traditional women. And back then, an average guy could get a traditional woman. And now what does he get? He gets a boss bitch, a boss babe, a girl that's been ran through. He gets an ex-hoe. He gets a born-again virgin. Like,
what do
this
I
is,
get?
as women,
Yeah.
this is what do we get? We still get protection and provisioning.
Are you sure?
And the
men
average
that they be
salary,
looking for.
the average,
Not
I mean, okay,
the
but here's the
settlement.
thing. The average salary could cover an apartment. But the thing is, like, women, we want this lifestyle that's not even realistic nowadays. Like, we want men that make more than we do, and we want them to pay all of the bills. But it's like, we all have our nails done. We have, we get our hair dyed. We have makeup. We have all of this stuff that costs money because we want this lifestyle. And I've had girls come on my show, and I say, would you date an average guy for companionship, but you would have to go down in lifestyle? And they say, no, we're addicted to lifestyle.
This isn't a gender war. It's a market correction. Men didn't disappear, they just stopped buying what doesn't serve them. And rejection hits different when it's calm, quiet, and final.
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.